For Montgomery County Habitat for Humanity, we were granted a partial gift of land of 37 acres back in the early 2000s. And so for almost 15 years, we've been building on that property. And you think it's going to be 129 homes when it's finished in 2026, which is
Wow.
incredible because that community is built with the loving hands of volunteers who have given thousands and thousands of hours to help families change the whole trajectory of their lives. And so we're building communities and we're doing it one home at a time.
Yeah.
Habitat has an incredible program, but we're doing it one home at a time.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Spotlight Houston, where we bring you the best of the people, places, and events in the greater Houston region. This week we sat down with Vicki Johnson, Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity of Montgomery County, an organization that's been working hard for more than 35 years to make homeownership a reality for families in low-income communities. She explains how families in need qualify for affordable housing, how they contribute sweat equity by building their homes, and how their no-interest mortgage program changes lives. Volunteers, donors, and programs like their Restore Center are vital to their success. Spotlight Houston is a production of Story Zone Media. This is episode 104 with an original air date of Monday, September 16, 2024. And now your host, Blanca Quezada.
Owning a home is a dream for most of us, but for some, unfortunately, in our community, it feels like it's out of their reach. Like they're not going to be able to ever own their home in their lifetime. And so that dream just fades away. But I have to tell you, there's this incredible organization that has been helping people achieve that unreachable dream in so many different ways. And so they're there for a lot of us in the community, and they've been there for several years. This organization has been handing out keys for several years, as I mentioned, and to newly built homes. And they've been changing so many lives. So here to tell us about this organization, joining me is Vicki Johnson. She is the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity of Montgomery County. And this is an organization that has been helping families and communities to get new homes constructed and homes with the rehabilitation program. So, Vicki, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Blanca. I appreciate you guys for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you on here because your organization is making such a big difference and has been making such a big difference for so many people. Why don't we start out by you talking a little bit about the history of, well, before we talk about the history, let me let people know who you are. Vicki Johnson is the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity of Montgomery County, which is an organization that has been helping families and communities through new home construction and home rehabilitation programs. I think I had said that already, right?
It's okay.
Anyway, Vicki, can we start out by you talking about a little bit about the history of Houston Habitat for Humanity?
Sure. And so what I love is the Habitat for Humanity International has such a rich history. The organization has been around for, I think, over 50 plus years internationally, with the home being in Americus, Georgia, and kind of the inspiration for the incredible work for affordable housing to help families in need and to ensure that everyone has a level playing field and can have an opportunity for the American dream. So we are so privileged. There are 1,000 affiliates across the world and in 70 countries. And in Texas, there are 58 affiliates. And Montgomery County, Texas just happens to be one of many affiliates across the country, across the world, doing this great grand mission. I can think of no other mission in my heart. And there are a lot of good nonprofits doing great work, but to have a place to call home means so much to so many of us.
And it's so important for the whole family and for kids to be able to call their place their home. But you're not just building homes, you're also building communities.
We are. And it's such an incredible blessing for Montgomery County Habitat for Humanity. We were granted a partial gift of land of 37 acres back in the early 2000s. And so for almost 15 years, we've been building on that property. And you think it's going to be 129 homes when it's finished in 2026, which is
Wow.
incredible because that community is built with the loving hands of volunteers who have given thousands and thousands of hours to help families change the whole trajectory of their lives. And so we're building communities and we're doing it one home at a time.
Yeah.
Habitat has an incredible program, but we're doing it one home at a time.
That's incredible. So who founded the organization?
Wow, that's a great question. I had just had the privilege earlier this year, to meet the founder, one of the original founders, Dr. James Schultz. This is a wonderful story, Blanca, that I have to share with you. He was an equine veterinarian who would drive throughout Montgomery County doing veterinarian work. And he would see the state of some of the houses throughout the county and just said, I want to do something. And he drove up to his church one day, and there was a gentleman who had on his car a bumper sticker that said Habitat for Humanity. And he was like, what does that mean? He had a chance to connect with the gentleman, and that's where it all started. It started with this amazing veterinarian who was driving across the county and saw the state of homes and just said, I want to do something better for my neighbors. And that started Habitat for Humanity Montgomery County 35 years ago.
And
Is that
then
a wonderful story or what?
it's incredible. It's incredible. And then former President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind got involved as well.
Right, right. And I love it because we have some wonderful people involved with the organization. He wasn't a founder, but he became a super figurehead for the organization as far as philanthropy and giving, and being a real face for Habitat International and the work that we do with families across the world. A lot of times I would say, is Jimmy Carter, former President Jimmy Carter, was he a founder? He was not a founder, but just became an amazing spokesperson and ambassador for this incredible work.
Yeah, I know he moved a lot of people. And I remember seeing him and his wife with a hammer in their hands and just hammering up away and building a new house.
Well into their 80s, 70s and 80s. I mean, just incredible. And I think that says so much about volunteerism and what our whole mission and vision is about, which is bringing God's people together to build homes, community, and hope. And I think that when volunteers come together to do this work, it encourages their soul, it increases their longevity and lifespan, and it fills your life with such wonderful purpose. When I hear our volunteers talk about why they do what they do for our organization, and the Carters are a beautiful example of that.
Yeah, I think you said an impactful word, and that word was hope, which a lot of people don't have, or they lose that hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And I think, and I think Habitat, and that's a part of our mission statement, because homeownership is so critical and so foundational to so many aspects of livelihood and quality of life. And this program brings that hope. Currently, Blanca, I'd like to tell you just a little bit about how our program works.
yes,
There's an eligibility process because we call it a partnership between the family and the organization and many of the stakeholders that invest and believe in this mission and vision. And so what happens is that we provide families an opportunity through a zero interest loan up to 30 years to be able to be a homeowner. We provide them all the tools and the resources they need. We don't give away homes. It's what we call it is a handout, not a handout. We really empower families to be homeowners and to live a great quality of life, because we feel if we give them a foundation for life through homeownership, they can have better outcomes, health outcomes, educational outcomes, financial outcomes, better outcomes for their children, and just their overall livelihood. So we believe strongly that homeownership is really the foundation for many of the other health outcomes for families.
Yeah, and I'm sure they feel very proud to be able to work towards owning that home.
Absolutely. Every one of our families work every day, but they can't afford a traditional mortgage. I mean, look at the interest rates now. They're falling just a little bit, but they're over 6%. Our families are unable to afford that. Most of the new developments in our community are really upwards $300,000+. A family would have to make over $100,000 to qualify. And some of the statistics around our workforce families are families that that work at school districts or daycare centers or at the grocery store, or maybe they're bus drivers or they're porters. So our families work every day but cannot afford a traditional mortgage. In the state of Texas, 1 in 7 families pay more than 50% of their income on housing. Can you imagine? If you pay
Wow.
over 50% of your income for housing, you don't have much money to do other things, especially if you're living on your wages, not, substantial. You earn a
Right.
living wage. And then in Montgomery County, for us, 2 in 7 families paid more than 30% of their income toward housing. Our program guarantees that no family would pay more than 30% of their income on housing. And we work diligently to ensure that our families have a fair opportunity as a partner, because they have to do their part to
Right.
participate in our program.
Right. So how many homes have you built so far?
So far, we built 120 homes in Cedar Creek. Total, we've built and repaired over 300 plus homes. Cedar Creek is an all habitat community of 37 acres. But prior to that community, we would build homes, what we call infill lots, throughout Montgomery County. I've had an opportunity to hear and see all sorts of stories. And I think the first assessment I had ever done, a family, they lived in a mobile home, and nothing's wrong with a mobile home. But when it's safe and secure, that's everything. But when it's not, the floor was sinking. There was no driveway. The appliances were sinking, and they needed a better place to live. There's been overcrowding, substandard living, rodents infestation, dangers like safety issues around apartment complexes. So what we do is, through our program, is to ensure a safe, decent, a home that they can afford within their price point. A lot of
Yeah.
times people don't understand affordable housing too, but it's kind of what we all do. We buy homes within our price point. And that's
Right.
what we offer families, a home within their price point. You and I, when we purchased our home, we purchased a home that we could afford in our price
Yeah.
point. And that's the same thing we offer here at Habitat for Humanity, Montgomery County.
Yeah. And also, I'm sure that living in Houston isn't very easy all the time, especially with the weather. Right now, especially when it's been super hot or we've had the hurricanes and the storms and
Mhm.
all flooding and all these issues. And I'm sure that it makes it more difficult to live in a home that isn't stable.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And even with all of those challenges, whether it's weather or things out of our control, we still need a place to call home. We want
Right.
to be at home, whether we lose electricity or not. We want to be at home. Whether we have water or not, we want to be at home. If a flood is coming, we want to make sure we
Right.
still have a home, or a
Right.
hurricane. I think one of the biggest lessons I learned was during COVID, in the pandemic, when you were sheltering in place. And all you wanted to do was make sure that your family had a safe, healthy place to come home
Mhm.
to, or to shelter in place. And so I believe that, again, I know there are a lot of great missions, but my friend, I believe that we have the best.
Yeah.
We have the best when we think about affordable housing, safe, decent place, generational wealth. We really create opportunities for families. They can
Yeah.
change the whole trajectory of their lives.
Yeah. Are these homes built in, like I said, you're developing communities, but are they being built close to like grocery stores, hospitals, or whatever it is that the families will need? The schools?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, our community in Conroe is families are walking their kids to the elementary school, and
Mhm.
they have public transportation. Not that every situation will be that way, but the property we were recently given and granted was 81 acres out in West Magnolia. Now, the transportation issues are a little bit different, but what we're still going to be able to do is to provide a family a house in their price point. So hopefully, if they need to have transportation or they need to create other ways to get around or accesses, they would still have the financial resources to do so.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
out in Magnolia, it's such a beautiful area too.
It's beautiful.
Well,
It's 81 acres of raw land, Blanca, and we need to
wow.
raise a crazy amount of money to develop it. So,
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
Wow. So how long does it take to build a home?
It could take anywhere from 6 to 9 months, depending on all of those weather factors you mentioned earlier. And I
Yeah.
tell you, the heat was really challenging for our team this year and our volunteers, but we were able to achieve great success.
Yeah.
We finished 11 homes this year.
Wow. So who designs the home and what is the design like?
Oh my gosh, Blanca. We use designs. We have about 6 different designs for our 129 homes for the 37 acres. And we have an architect committee. We have an incredible board. And of that board, there's several committees that really help us to do this work well. So we can't do the work without our incredible board, advisory council, and volunteer leadership who helps us with this program. They ensure the houses have their own unique characteristics. The community is absolutely beautiful. And it is an energy efficient home, an ADA accessible home. So the families can really claim ownership. They get a chance to choose their design and color of their home. And we're not subsidized housing. So our homes do not look like subsidized homes or tract homes, but they look like beautiful individual pieces of property. And so they're gorgeous. And I can't wait to have you out for a tour.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've seen a lot of images and they do
Yes,
look
ma'am.
beautiful.
Are
And the
beautiful.
families look so happy.
Yes,
But
ma'am. And we have 2, 3, and 4 bedroom floor plans, and they go from like 900 square feet all the way up to about 1,200 plus square feet.
oh, they're pretty spacious.
They are spacious. They are
Yeah.
lots of room to grow.
Yeah, yeah. So you've been mentioning volunteers a lot. So how many volunteers do you work with?
Oh, we work with thousands of volunteers. If you can imagine, every detail of that house is really touched by a volunteer, whether it's a volunteer on the construction site here at the gala where they help us to raise money to offset the cost of that, or there's a advisory council member or a board member. Just for example, last year in 2023, 2,100 volunteers gave over, I think it's 14,000 hours for a total $466,000 in volunteerism to support our work.
Yeah, and I've heard that a lot of your volunteers also go out there and help build some of these homes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They help build. They put in a lot of sweat and love into this community, and it just shows. Every time we play a mission video or someone tells us why they love this mission so much, you get goosebumps. I was talking to the co-chair, one of our new co-chairs for the gala tonight, and I said, "Why did you choose this mission?" And she said, at one point she had home insecurity. And that once you experience home insecurity, like it's nothing like it. And so she says she loves this mission. She's a successful business owner here in the greater Houston area. And so her and her husband gives back through their business. And it's just an incredible blessing to hear our personal stories of why it means so much to either work for the organization or volunteer. I love the stories around the families who say, because a part of our program is that you put in 350 sweat equity hours as a partner family. And at 175 hours, you get your own slab. But in order to do that, you do that through helping to build the community, helping to build your neighbor's house, your house, the person down the street. And there's other unique ways. But what we hear a lot of our family partners say, wow, I know everything about my home because I helped to build it. I helped to put up the sheetrock. I helped to put up the walls. It's a wonderful mission. It's a wonderful,
yeah, and you get to start meeting your neighbors as
absolutely.
well.
And that's
And
how you build community, right?
Yeah, and sharing stories and being able to take care of each other.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah,
And when you
yeah.
get volunteers, with our gala, we often talk about you don't need to lift a hammer to help, but also we have our corporate sponsors. And I mean, there's an incredible, generous community in Montgomery County. And our corporations and businesses and individuals who say, hey, we want to help. We want our neighbors to succeed. It's really a good neighbor approach. I'm doing well and I want my neighbor to do well too.
Exactly, exactly. So who qualifies for this program?
Yeah. So the qualifications are based on need, willingness to partner, and eligibility, right? So you have to do those three primary things. You have to state your need, that you're eligible for the program, and you're willing to partner with Habitat. And because we are providing you a zero interest loan up to 30 years, we expect you to be a good partner, pay your mortgage, pay your taxes, take care of your home, because that's the agreement that we have. And so those families, anyone can apply to our program when it's open. Right now, our program is closed because we're finishing up Cedar Creek, getting ready for Marble Creek. But we completely prepare family for home ownership. If you don't have the credit, we help you clean up your credit. We've had families to apply as many as 3 times for our program.
Makes you eligible.
You have to have a job for a certain period of time and be willing to partner, provide all of the financial information that we request, and that's how you're deemed eligible for the program. Our program, because we are moving from Cedar Creek to Marble Creek, our program is closed right now because we're at capacity.
Yeah.
And by 2026, we'll be taking applications for our new community. And not 2026, next year, we'll start taking applications for Marble Creek. There are 58 affiliates in Texas, and each one of us have our own geographical service area. So I work in Montgomery County, and there are several other habitats around. And usually wherever a family may have an interest in living, that's where they apply. If you want to live in Montgomery County, our office is in Conroe, and we'll tell you all about our programs. And all of our programs work similar, but not exactly the same. And if you want to apply in Houston, you can go over to Houston Habitat. That's actually, again, the program, the virtual homeownership program through Houston.
Do you happen to have other programs?
Oh, yeah, we do. And I love it. We have a repair program. So we do 2 things. We build homes and we repair homes. And so and just the data is just incredible for both programs. But we know and believe that people want to age safely in their homes. And
Yeah.
through our repair program, we've helped veterans, seniors, and individuals who are disabled. We've been able to go in to modify their homes so they can live and age safely in their home. We know the data proves that once those repairs are done, it changes their mental and physical health. A new roof, ramps, grab bars, widening stairwells or widening doorways, giving them a new bathroom, giving them a new kitchen. All of those make such a difference in the quality of life and how families can age safely in their homes. I have an 84-year-old mother, and my dad had a stroke about 3 years ago. And so we went in and we put all the grab bars, everything that we needed to try to enable them to live safely.
I'm sure
Wonderful
you've
program.
had a lot of people reach out because during the storms and the hurricanes, a lot of people's homes were destroyed basically because trees fell on them or just because they were old homes. And I'm sure that there's still a lot of people out there that need help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, the greater Houston area is so generous. What we're doing, we've received some funding to help families who had situations with Beryl, and we're working to get those needs met.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. You're exactly right. It's a critical need, repairs. And so you have and what we're faced with sometimes, those are disaster repairs. And then we just have families who just need repairs in general. And they put it off because they didn't have the finances or the resources or the access to good contractors. And we have all of that to help them.
What is Restore?
Oh my gosh, Restore is our home improvement resale shop and operation that helps us to helps us with our programs. It helps to fund our programs. It's a wonderful place where you can get reduced or slightly used goods or materials or furniture. And the Restore is incredible. It's a 20,000 square foot facility off of 242 in Conroe, Texas. And when people buy or purchase or donate to Restore, that goes directly back into our mission to build. So it's an incredible store. Blanca, you have to visit and hold tight to your wallet.
Yeah, definitely. So how can we donate? What do we need to do to donate?
Yeah. So there's another, I love this. We always welcome a generous cash contribution. That's always welcome.
Very
You can shop at Restore. That's very helpful. And you can donate your time. And I'll tell you, one of the other great things that I love about the foundation of our housing ministry is that if you can't do any of that, please pray for us. We believe that we're doing God's work. We believe that it's a housing ministry. and that we're helping our neighbors, that we want to love our neighbors like we love ourselves. And we want them to have, and those children to have the best opportunities and the best quality of life that
Yeah.
could be afforded to them. And so I'm sorry, I'm not moving enough. There we go.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, when they have somewhere that is safe and they can call home, people can thrive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I tell you one of my favorite stories. We had a family, they applied to the program 3 times before they got into the program. And about 3 years ago during COVID, she said, Vicki, our family, we're taking our first vacation. We've never had a vacation before. And she said, because of our Habitat home and affordable mortgage, we can expose our children to opportunities beyond Conroe or Montgomery County. And they said, so where are you going? And she said, we're going to SeaWorld. And I said,
Oh,
awesome.
wow.
Because what happens is that exposure is everything, right? Opportunity to visualize yourself in a new place and experiencing new things. I said, we may have a future marine biologist. I mean,
Yeah.
we may have just a child who's curious about aquatics or anything regarding water. So I
Yeah.
just think that we are changing lives in the best way possible.
Yeah.
By
Yeah. I think they become more empowered and they feel that they can reach any opportunity they can think of and be able to make their kids feel stronger and more confident.
Yes,
Yeah. I mean, it changes the whole dynamic, I
uh,
think, of the family.
it does. I could not agree. And statistically, the stats are there to prove it. We did a study with the University of Houston back in 2022. They did a study of all of our families in the Habitat Montgomery County program. And across every category, the numbers prove that their lives were better as a result of being provided an affordable house through Habitat Montgomery County.
Yeah.
And we're so grateful to the Hobby Foundation and the University of Houston School of Social Work for supporting that study.
Yeah. I know that we've been talking about volunteers. So how do we become a volunteer?
Yeah, we have a very easy program. You go to our website at habitatmctx.org. That's habitatmctx.org and just go to the volunteer tab and sign up. And there's so many multiple ways to get involved. It can be more than construction. It can be the restore. It can be the gala. It can be volunteering to teach classes through because we have our homeownership program classes or even around the administrative office. We could also use some help. So there's
Yeah,
a
of course.
number of ways to get involved with us, but please reach out. We have an amazing volunteer coordinator who would be happy to help you.
Yeah, the Habitat is always super, super busy with a lot of things in their hands, right?
Oh, we do. We call it a lot of business under our roof. We're building houses, we're community developers, we're real estate agents, and we do all the nonprofit work. It's super busy.
Yeah, supporting a lot of people,
Yes, ma'am.
But again, if we can't do all that, we can donate and we
Mhm.
can become a sponsor and go to fundraising events such as your
Mhm.
gala and be a part of this huge endeavor that's making a big difference to a lot of families.
Thank you,
And
Blanca. Well said.
yeah, can you give us that website and maybe even a phone number where we can get more information?
Sure. The website is habitatmctx.org. That's habitatmctx.org. And our phone number is 936-441-4663. 936-441-4663.
Well, Vicki, thank you so much for being here on Spotlight Houston and for letting us know everything. Well, I'm sure there were some things that we missed for Habitat for Humanity in Montgomery County, but you gave us the most important information that we need to be able to qualify or be eligible or just to help. In any way, thank you for your time. And I'm sure that a lot of people are going to be giving you a call. But
We love
yeah,
that. Blanca.
and thanks also to your staff who
Yeah.
do an enormous amount of work in making a big difference for Habitat for Humanity again in Montgomery County. And of course, thank you all for joining me once again on Spotlight Houston. And don't forget to leave me your comments. And if you happen to have any story ideas, please get in touch.